We good?
Yeah, we're good. Like, at least on my side.
Cool. What's up, y'all? It's your boy DNA Picasso, and we're back again with another episode of You Gotta Hear This. And today we have a very special guest. We have Adrienne Osborn with us, um,
Hello.
founder, owner, and lead instructor of Performance High, a voice and music studio down in Denver, Colorado. Yeah, I wanted to get you on today and talk about Performance High, talk about you a little bit, and just the resource that is Performance High and why
Hmm.
you're doing what you're doing and all the things. So first, like I see
Yeah,
that you're on the slopes. You
I
want to
am.
where you at? Yeah, somewhere far
I'm at
away.
A Basin, Arapahoe Basin.
Got you, got you. Man,
Yeah,
you're living the dream right now.
I sure am. I had a previous career in software development. I would have not been able to come up on a Friday to ski when I had a regular job.
Yeah, the beauty of the
It's
music
fun.
industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on today. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm
Of
glad we can make
course,
it come together so quickly, even
of
though I had to ski.
course. Yeah, me too. I hit you up yesterday and asked if you can jump on today, and it was just like super fluid. I'm glad
Yeah.
we could do it like this, and you could call in.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to talk a little bit about Performance High? I have the web page opened up right now, the
Cool.
website. So at any point, if you want to you want me to navigate through the site, I can do that as well. But I
No,
kind of
that's
want to
right.
know,
I mean,
yeah,
I love
yeah,
telling the story of like why performance high exists
mm-hmm,
and what it's become today. And it's been really true to its roots, honestly. So as I mentioned, I had a previous career in computers. Basically, I was in IT, and through a series of events that I don't need to go into, I basically ended up changing careers and I became a musician. But I was taking voice lessons and I first of all had trouble finding good quality contemporary voice lessons. Like there were a lot of classical teachers around, but not a lot of contemporary ones that really knew what they were doing. So I
yep,
saw kind of a hole in the market there and I learned how to teach and then I started teaching because I figured what better way to learn how to do something than to try to teach someone else to do it.
mm-hmm,
So um, so now I'm an accredited teacher and I'm a mentor teacher. So I train other teachers. So basically, I was taking voice lessons and wanting to get into music, and I didn't know the first thing about it. I don't have anyone in my family who does music, not even my extended family. And so I didn't know how to use a microphone, how to write a booking email, how to get into a band, how to do a gig, how to perform on stage, how to run sound. I mean, you name it. I didn't know how to do it. I was just in voice lessons. So as my studio grew and had more and more people in it who were facing the same kinds of challenges, I thought, there needs to be some way for people to learn how to get from just here in the studio with their teacher out into the thing they want to do in
yep,
music. And over the last 15 years, that's been what we've been building out. I have more and more highly qualified vocal coaches. We all teach contemporary styles, popular music styles, everything from pop to screaming to musical theater. And in the last few years, we've really been leaning into some additional classes. And we've kind of done a lot of experiments over the last 9, 10 months where we've thrown a lot of stuff at the wall to see what people are interested in. Now we have a read on that. And where we're heading this fall is pretty exciting. It's still kind of like in the design phase, but we're probably moving toward four kind of tracks of classes. Um, you don't have to take them in order, but they're kind of categorized. Like if you want to take them in order, they make sense to take in order. So one track that is artist development and marketing. So it's like, what am I? Who am I? What am I trying to sell? What's my value proposition? How do I sell it? How do I get people to learn about it? And we are going to partner with Kelsana on that, Kelsey Luscious Miguel. And then the next track is songwriting. They're not in order, but this another track is songwriting. So we'll have kind of bite-sized classes for songwriters, improving your lyrics, learning about song structure, production, things like that. And we'll have a stage performance track, which is really where our strength lies too. Um, so talking to the audience, moving on stage, putting together a killer set, everything that goes into making a good live show that people want to come back to. And the fourth track is music theory, because we're a very vocalist centric school. Mostly teens, most teens and adults, not so many kids. And we want to make sure that our singers are also musicians. So we have a music theory series in the works as well. So, we do tons and tons of voice lessons for teens and adults. But then on top of that, we have like all this other stuff that you would need to like take those skills out of the voice studio into the world. So performances, recording, classes, artist development, all kinds of stuff. So it's really like what I wish existed when I was trying to become a musician.
Yeah, you're being the change that you sought out,
Exactly.
back then. And I think it's really cool that you
Yeah.
have this resource for artists. You talked about like where you're headed in the fall. Um, can you walk through a little bit of some of the classes and stuff that you kind of started off doing that you felt like where most valuable to artists right now, and also um, why you feel like this kind of artist development is valuable for artists? Because I think a lot of people think about artist development and they think about like only like branding sometimes. Maybe
Hmm.
some people only think about getting better at your instrument. Like why does like what does artist development mean to you, and
Yeah.
how does that look like
That's a great
on
question
performance high?
because artist development is a huge collection of possibilities depending on what different people need. I mean, it basically at the beginning of it, it means like learning how to write better songs and record better songs and perform better. And then on the far end of it, it has to do with, gets into the marketing side of things, really defining um, what your image is, what your branding is, and that helps you market because you can't market without knowing what you're selling. So that some specific types of classes that we have in artist development, it really starts with identity. What is your story? Like, what's your hook? Like a song has a hook, an artist needs a hook because people need to say, "Oh, that's the girl who blah blah blah," has to fit in like one sentence, or that's that rapper who has this story, and that's how word spreads, rather than just being like, "I do a little of everything and I play great music," you know.
Yeah,
So it really starts with helping people figure out what their story is, and everyone has a story, even if they don't think they do. Um, you might have to lean harder on some truths than others, but what we help people do is dig into their authentic image or their authentic self and find the story of the many stories that you have that you want to lean into as an artist. So for example, like I've given examples of like I could make a story that I'm, a career switcher, went from IT into music, and that's why I do electronic music, for example, because I am a computer geek. Or I could say that I've always loved nature. I used to run in the desert, and so I write this kind of music. That everybody's got lots of different angles, and it's hard to choose from. So that's where it begins. And
yeah,
then once you figure out what you want to be, you know, there are cities in this country where there's strong music scenes, and I think there is kind of a bar that is understood. It kind of gets absorbed for like what you do when you perform, like how to connect with an audience, how to effectively use a mic and a mic stand, how to move around the stage without wandering, um, how to do good song introductions if you do them. And I think that is a little lacking in some circles in Denver. And so we've been coaching people about like how short to make your intro. If you're a singer songwriter and you're going to talk to someone about your song, how do you structure that? What are the elements of a good intro? Like we even have a formula. We have a formula for a good
yeah,
song intro, which is um, universal life theme plus what it means to you plus why it's important right now tonight.
yeah.
And you don't have to put them in that order, but if you get those three elements in your song intro, it is compelling. And we have examples and we help people work through that. So we kind of really get into specifics of like it's the tiny things that make a big difference in a good performance. It's not just bringing the energy, although that's required. There are some basic skills that we believe people really need to know to like connect with more audiences and convert them into fans. We're also working on a book, by the way, so it's going to be called, working title, a show with a capital S, um, playing shows that make diehard fans. So we've got probably gonna have that out by the end of this year.
Oh yeah, that's super dope. I can't wait for y'all to bring that into the world.
Yeah.
Um, I like that you highlighted the fact that a lot of Denver's like circles are lacking some of that grassroots artist development. Um, I think it's interesting because a lot of people want to shoot off straight from like song to stardom. without doing all the things in between. And I think in like pop or R&B or hip hop, it's a little easier to just like go to the studio, make a song and put it out than it is for maybe a big band.
Mm,
And like in some respects, like even like for rap artists, like a lot of us don't have to know music theory at all, or even have to understand that until we do, or until we
right.
go into a room where we don't understand the lingo and it makes it hard for us to move a certain way. And
Yeah.
so I think I try to stress this in my own life, but also to other people, how important it is to like not skip the little steps. And if you did skip the little steps, being okay with like going back and like starting from the basics. Like,
Yeah.
do you feel like that's important too?
Yeah. And, that's why we're serving people with these little bite-sized classes. It's expensive to go get a music degree, and it doesn't pay off for everyone. The investment, it's music is not like a usually a super lucrative kind of career.
Yeah.
Um, so we wanted to have an option for people like me who already went to school or maybe didn't already go to school, but they're in music and they're doing it, and they need to fill holes in their knowledge. And so our classes are 90 minutes long. You sign up for one and done. If you want to go deeper, then there are ways to go deeper. But like we're trying to just help people. Like, you don't understand what diatonic chords are. Let's just teach you what diatonic chords are, because that's like some basic language that you need to know, like what chords belong in a key, what a key is, and all these things. So, I mean, the more well-rounded everyone is, just with the basics, the better we can all communicate and get things done, and the more respect that we have from other musicians that we come across.
Absolutely. And so Performance High does like solo one-on-one lessons, like group sessions, hybrid sessions, in-person sessions.
Yeah.
Which format do you feel like has been the most beneficial for artists? Where do you feel like artists learn most? Like in the group setting, or on the one-on-one,
That is a
individual?
great question, because yeah, we do offer private sessions, group lessons, group classes, pop choir, in-person classes, hybrid classes. It depends on what the content is, honestly. So if it's a voice lesson, typically the more advanced students typically need the private voice lessons because they need some fine tuning, some polishing. It's not easy to do in a group. The more beginner voice students are well served by group lessons, oftentimes because we're learning basics. We're all learning the same things. The hybrid classes have generally been just fine, whether people come in person, like classes meaning like the artist development, the music business, the music theory, stage performance, even. Those have been working really well, both in person and online. Although some of them, such as the harmony class that we ran,
Hmm?
much better to be in person if possible.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
I could see
it's hard
why.
to
I
do
could see
harmonies
why.
online. But the more content heavy classes are just fine as a combination, like hybrid online. It's been really convenient for people who they just don't feel like driving across town, or their schedule's too tight. And then it's recorded too, so it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. So I'm on the website right now. So for somebody who navigates over to the site, how do they get involved? How do they get involved? What's going on the website? Um,
Yeah. Well, you can go to contact us, and then there's a big button there. You could click to get started. You can self-register and self-book a lesson if you want to, or you can talk to so that this is our booking site where you would actually go register, if you feel like you're ready. But if you want to talk to our admin to get advice about where to start, which teacher to work with, all that
mhm,
kind of stuff, that's her picture right there. And I believe I can't see it really well right now, but I believe the contact info is on that page as well.
yep, it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so feel free to just reach out directly. She loves talking to people. She's also a life coach. So she loves like helping people figure out, what's best for you out of all these things we have, because there's a lot to navigate in everything we offer, from pop choir to group lessons to performances to artist development,
Yeah.
classes, solo, you know what I mean?
And like y'all offer lessons, a wide range of lessons,
Hmm.
classes. You have events going on that are virtual, in person, hybrid,
Hmm.
different artist services that people can just shop.
Hmm.
Just specific, kind of like a la carte style.
The artist development services are basically booked all as just artist development. You don't have to book a specific type of service there.
Mm-hmm.
Those pages just describe what those things are. so people can
Gotcha.
learn more about artist development. And
Gotcha.
we have something exciting coming up. If this podcast is coming out by then, on April 13th, which is a Sunday, we have one of our big live band showcases at Nisi's in
Yep.
Lafayette. Great venue, huge stage, huge wings. We get to project like cool stuff on the wings. And that will be two of our client bands performing. One of them is a metal band, one of them is acoustic. And then also our pop choir is performing, and about 20 individual showcase singers fronting our professional band are
Yo,
also performing. It's like a
that's
4 hour
dope.
show.
Is that
Yeah.
right here? This the live band showcase
Yeah.
at Roots Music Project?
Oh, no,
Oh
at
no, 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 no,
Nisi's.
no, sorry. Live
Yeah,
band
we're going to be at
showcase
Roots in August.
in Lafayette on the 13th. I see.
Yeah.
Cool. And okay, here we go right here. These are all the April events. Um that's solid. That's super cool. And so y'all have rehearsal space too?
Yes, you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
So how does someone go about they just oh, all your prices are on here as well?
Yep. And you can either reach out to Kristen, through the same channels
Mm-hmm.
as for lessons, or talk directly to me. Um, it's fairly booked up at this point, but we do still have a little bit of room, especially during the days. Um, Daytimes are not as heavy use in general,
Yeah.
but it's great for solo practice, band practice. Um, we've got all the gear. It's all backlined.
This is dope. Y'all are damn near a one-stop shop for artist development
I know.
in all
Like I
things.
said, it's like what I wished existed. When I was practicing in my car when I was taking voice lessons, because I didn't have a private place to practice. So, this is one more piece of that puzzle. If you need a place to practice, then you can rent a room by the hour to just come and make some noise.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is super cool. Adrienne, I really appreciate you jumping on today. And I know you're up at the slopes, kind of on vacation, but I got you working.
That's all right. That's all right. I love talking about my business.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I am very thankful for what you do. If y'all don't also know, she is also a part of the Colorado Music Industry Alliance.
Yes.
And just very helpful just as a thought leader and just different things. And I'm super excited to collaborate
Well,
with you more and do more things.
I appreciate everything you do, DNA. You're a force of nature.
I appreciate you for real. Hmm. Yeah, well, enjoy the rest of your day on the slopes,
Thank you.
and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks a lot. Good to see you.
All right, thank you, Adrienne. All right.